All right, here we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. They are closed this weekend for Memorial Day, so you can catch them, or for Labor Day. I did it again. Damn it! So you can catch them on Wednesday down in Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off of your order. All right, let's get to it. Wasn't the result anybody wanted this weekend in Fayetteville. It's a hard-fought game. Cincinnati was resilient, but ultimately they were sloppy. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. In all three phases, in offense and defense, special teams, there were too many costly penalties at critical times. It just, if you're going to go and win that game on the road, you have to play really well. And I thought they played well. Just didn't think they played really well.
They certainly didn't play really well.
So let's get to it. I'm going to have my thoughts in Brendel's Bites that I'm working on now. We will get the thoughts of Aaron Smith, who you can see is at a hotel room. In Fayetteville. Aaron, first off, how was the experience? How was the pregame, the tailgating, the Arkansas fans? How was the overall trip down to see the game?
So the drive was fine. There was a little bit of rain that we ran into from like St. Louis for maybe 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. No big deal. We did drive through Uranus, Missouri, where you can. There's a fudge factory in Uranus, Missouri, and the billboards are nothing short of hilarity.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah, where you can have plenty of fun in Uranus, is what the billboard said.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
Unbelievable. It was, of course, the fudge factory was on Route 66 as well. So,
yeah,
went in Rome, I suppose. Outside of that, though, we went to J&J's last night. Got to meet Tonk for the first time, face to face. So that was something. No, Tonk's good. He's fun, and we went to JJ's. It was a little bar on the strip down here in Arkansas, Dixon Street, I guess, and we got to listen to a live band. All that the younger fans are not as accepting as the 30 and older crowd, I suppose.
Of course.
So you'll run into that. The tailgate's huge. Like the way that Cincinnati does the grid, it's just spread out so much wider.
Yeah, because they're not in the middle of a downtown area. Like, that's just how it goes.
So that was something that I noticed. But again, most people are pretty accepting. I wore blue, a neutral color, so I wasn't attacked for being Cincinnati. But once we got to the game, here's something. Tonk and I had this conversation. He brought this point up last night. Where do you think, Chad, Woo Pig Suey originated? And how long do you think it took for this one maniac to keep doing this and all of that? And like, no, this is going to stick. This is going to stick. Like, how long do you think that actually took for them to get to that point to where this is what people are doing as grown-ass adults at this football game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
I just want everyone who's a Bearcats fan to just appreciate down the drive.
Right?
For what it is, because it's fun, it's catchy, kids love it, and it's not whatever is going on here in Arkansas.
So I had a posse today with me. There's nothing Kelsey loves more than like showing off to her friends.
Or in the background of your podcast.
Right. So when I got home last night, I was informed that her and 3 of her friends would be joining us today at the Holy Grail. And I'll give them credit. When they were seated, which,
Kids.
keeping 4 12-year-old girls seated, They made it sound like a New Kids on the Block concert. They were screaming, hollering, rooting for the Bearcats. Like it was all right. It was okay. But yeah, so we had a crew. It was me, Kelly, my 4 members of the entourage, and then Chelsea and Stu at the Bearcat Journal table. So
yeah, we ended up.
It was packed, dude. They were on a wait at 12:30 for the game. So.
Right.
To the Bearcat Journal community, like this is how we gain sponsors, is because they know you guys are going to show up. And I was talking with the manager, and he's been one of the managers for them since they were in Clifton. And he said what he hated when they moved down to the Banks is that they were an Ohio State bar. And you could tell he was like, I've been like, this has been building over 3 seasons. And obviously you had COVID a couple years ago. He was like, I've been waiting for this to be a UC bar on Saturdays, and this is outstanding. So, again, bottom of my heart, thank all of you that showed up and those that said hello and those that didn't, whatever. But pretty much everybody was in red and black, so it was awesome.
As for the amenities up in the press box, I was open air press box, and lunch at a Hogs game, of course, was pulled pork and
isn't that cannibalism?
I think at this point we're assuming that yes, it is. I think we're all. But that said, everyone there again, it's just pretty welcoming, pretty nice. Didn't have any issue outside of trying to find where the actual gate was to get in, because we'll call it gate 1 was closed. And you had to get to gate 6 and all. That was something. But beyond that, though, the game itself. I was talking with Jeff about this, and he said he was going to mention me tomorrow morning when he does his show. So I feel like I would do my due diligence and mention him as well. But I was talking with Jeff about this. Was that not the most boring first half of Luke Fickell football you've ever seen?
No.
I thought it was excruciatingly boring.
I mean, I don't think it was wildly exciting, but a lot of it was just their timing wasn't good. Like they weren't. You could tell.
I meant offense, defense. All of it was just.
I mean, they took like 8 shots down the field. They just missed.
There was no energy. Not from Arkansas, not from Cincinnati. The only time Arkansas, like the fans, even really had any energy was the touchdown and the interception.
That's an Arkansas problem, I guess.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you how it was sitting in the stadium.
I mean, from where we were, I mean, the Holy Grail had a good buzz to it. Like there was a lot of frustration.
Sure.
Obviously with the offense, it feeling like they were ready to get on a roll at any given point, and it just never materialized in the first half.
The first drive, they were definitely on a roll until the cornerback sat on that route and jumped it. And
that's on. Like he can't. If you watch, he took the snap and immediately.
Yeah, the cornerback read his eyes, sat on
didn't drive the throw. I thought he floated it a little bit. He tried to be like finesse it a little bit.
Yeah, sat on the cornerback, sat on it and jumped the route. So kudos to them on that. But when Arkansas was loud, they were deafeningly loud. It was ridiculously loud outside. But again, there were only a couple times when they were like that. I don't know if you could tell at home watching, but their third down song is the Steve Austin Glass Break. So that was pretty fantastic, and they got pretty loud on third downs, as teams are wont to do. I don't know. I definitely understand the frustration of the fan base right now with Ben Bryant, and he floated an awful lot of passes on plays that you maybe didn't even need to. You didn't need to put as much zip on when you got Jaden. Was it Tyler Scott open down the middle and just zipped it right over his head? Like you don't have.
But that's first game.
I get it.
It is what it is.
I understand people's frustration with it, but I think that you also have to channel some of that frustration and understand that Ben Bryant is probably somewhere between good and great as far as collegiate quarterbacks go, probably closer to good than great, but you have had the upper echelon of quarterback at the helm for the entirety of the last 4 years, and it's really hard to temper those expectations. We had talked about the people were going to turn on somebody. We thought it was going to be Tressel, Chad. It's Ben Bryant that they're turning on.
I'm busting at the seams to make a point.
Go ahead.
You know who all these people turned on 2 years ago? And who they wanted at quarterback 2 years ago? These same people that are in my mentions turning on Ben Bryant today were the people that turned on Desmond Ridder the first 3 games of the 2020 season and screamed at the top of their lungs for Ben Bryant to be the quarterback.
That same season that turned out that Dez was injured all season.
No, that's 19. 20, remember 20 was the first 3 games where he looked like crap all the way to that South Florida game. They had the bye. He came back against SMU and was a monster the rest of the way. But those first 3 games of 2020, people were heated. These same people that are in my mentions today crushing Ben Bryant after throwing for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns to 8 receivers.
Now, again, as I say that people need to temper their expectations.
And completing 60% of his passes.
I'm talking to myself as well because I'm still Team Evan. That hasn't changed. I was excited when he got in for the one play when Ben Bryant lost his helmet because apparently that's what we do as Cincinnati right now is 15 helmets off. It was absurdity. You can definitely catch me I asked Luke about that in the post-game presser as far as the Bearcats losing all of their helmets. Beat Justin to it. He got plenty of questions anyway. That said, like you said at the beginning, you hate to see this type of an outcome. I think we certainly learned some things about the Bearcats. I'm not going to be necessarily guy that says Arkansas didn't beat us, we beat ourselves, but Cincinnati had every opportunity to win that game up until the 4th quarter, and they simply weren't able to capitalize. So I think obviously
– and look, it wasn't just offense. That defense in the second half was not good.
They looked tired.
It was not good.
It was hot.
They were on the field. Oh, hold on. Let me pull it up. Box score team. Talk for a second because it's good. Oh,
it was hot. Brent and I were down on the field before the game started. It was.
Wasn't it like 84 degrees?
Humid and hot.
Okay. Damn it, where is it? Cincinnati dominated time of possession, Aaron. So I don't buy the tire. Like, they weren't out there
at
for
some point.
These long, sustained, like 18 play Arkansas drives.
I'm sure at some point you get a little frustrated in the fact that you're doing everything you can out there to try and win a game, and your offense keeps shooting itself.
But no, that doesn't explain the second half when the offense was putting them back in the game, and the defense couldn't get off the field.
It was a weird game.
If we're pointing fingers, we're pointing them everywhere they need to be pointed, and we're not just pointing them at quarterback because that's the easy thing for everybody to do.
Well, like we said, we were going to have to also temper expectations in the secondary because you don't have Ahmad Sauce Gardner or Kobe Bryant anymore, or Brian Cook for that matter.
Well, I thought the biggest misplay of the game was right at the end. They get third and 9, and KJ Jefferson breaks the pocket, gets up the field, and at 6 yards, Brian Threats has a clear shot on him, doesn't bring him down.
No, the biggest misplay of the game was when you start the drive at 1st and goal from the 3.
Yeah.
and you
Sure,
get like 17
but
penalties.
those are penalties. I'm talking about like actual on the field play.
I'm talking
Brian
about
Cook makes that tackle against KJ Jefferson.
without
That was the first time I really felt like if you would have subbed one of the guys from last year into that play, and that's not a Brian Threats like knock, but there's a reason Brian Cook was a second-round pick. It's because he comes up on KJ Jefferson downhill, makes that play, and Cincinnati gets the ball back with 3 minutes left and a chance to tie, right? True?
Yeah.
There were plenty, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays, and we talked about this a lot. There are going to be plays, at least early, that this defense allows that we didn't see last year, where a guy has the ball and just green grass in front of him. Green grass in front of him.
So I know I've been super critical in this entire conversation and kind of trying to put a bow on things here. I was impressed with the way that the offensive line handled adversity in the face of Jake Renfro being out and sub in Cooper at left guard as Gavin moves to center.
I'd say Gavin needs to get his snaps up a little bit. That was really my only.
Yeah, there were a couple snaps for Ben, but certainly impressed with the way that this offensive line handled a large defensive line of Arkansas. There was definitely some pressure on Ben in the second half as opposed to the first half, but of course Arkansas made adjustments. That said, I was also impressed with the rotation of the defensive line because you saw plenty of snaps.
Eric Phillips made some plays today, boy.
Saw plenty of snaps from Eric Phillips. Saw plenty of snaps from Dante Corleone.
The Godfather made some plays today, boy.
No, Potter was in on some plays today. It was definitely intriguing. It's going to continue to be an evolving thing, I would imagine, for this defensive line. Find out who's going to be your rotation and who's going to continue to.
There was a very clear best Bearcat player on the field today.
Are you going to say Corey Kiner?
No.
No?
No.
Was that Hayes. Oh, I didn't know if that was
zero.
I didn't know if that was
zero.
Just forgot to.
A heart has like this.
Look,
this is my new. We were doing this back and forth at the Grail today. Every time, dude,
he was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Luke talked about it. Jabari talked about it.
Everywhere. I had people look at me in the eyes on this screen, not you, but people from the outside. When I was doing all these, the media car wash that I've done over the past week, I told Pete Thamel, go back to the Pete Thamel interview. Pete, I think Ivan Pace is the best player on this defense. And he went, what? You mean Deshaun? No, bro. No.
Deshaun had
a great day for Deshaun. Not a great day. Great day for Ivan. 12 tackles.
He was everywhere.
3.5 tackles for loss. A sack.
He was everywhere.
Monster.
So there's
you can go on your boy Corey.
Huh? Corey
had your boy Corey.
Well, yeah. I think he positioned himself to. Of course, we don't know what happened with Ryan Montgomery at this point in time, but he took the rock and was not afraid to do what needed to be done. Chuck also had a great day. My goodness, Chuck showed. Old Chuck was here today. And that was great to see a poor – I mean, the guy's gone through more surgeries, I think, than he's had years played at Cincinnati at this point.
86 yards for Chuck and what should have been a touchdown.
Yes.
A game-changing touchdown. A game-tying touchdown.
I don't as Jeremy Cooper whiffs, we're allowed to talk about it. Fick said he wasn't allowed to talk about it, but we're allowed to talk about it.
There was a hold – Jeremy Cooper tried to hold. He missed.
He wanted to hold. Yeah, he wanted to
hold. And that's what he got called for. Is he had his hand in a fist, trying to hold,
but no jersey in it.
And they called him for a hold and called back a touchdown. That was the drive that ended up in no points, right?
Yeah, because you ended up having you were going to kick a field goal, and then another penalty.
You had a sack that pushed him back. And then
there was a penalty when they threw the field goal unit out there.
Yeah.
delay a game, false start, whatever it was at that point in time, and you end up having to punt. So lots of things for the team to pick apart, and I would not want to be part of that film session.
I hate people that say this. I thought in watching that game, Cincinnati was the better team. They did not play better. Arkansas played better. Arkansas played more mistake-free.
Yep.
But that Arkansas roster had more holes than the Cincinnati roster.
I think they also had a lot of guys leave the game with injuries.
That's football.
I understand.
Cincinnati had their starting center not get to play.
Yeah.
You know, they had guys leave the game. They were just fortunate enough today that those guys came back. I mean, I thought across the board, the Cincinnati roster was better than the Arkansas roster, but Arkansas played more. And that's, again, when you talk about everything that they lost, when you talk about all the coaching staff turnover, that's why it was so easy to say Arkansas has something that Cincinnati doesn't in terms of returning quarterback, most of their offensive line back. So you're not going to get some of the procedure and, you know, silly penalties that cost you in critical situations. That's why it was easy to kind of say you're leaning towards Arkansas going into this game. And what should be a close game, a lot of times what determines close games is experience. And Arkansas had the experience. But I will tell you this. You can say, we'll get out of here after what I say, what I got to say. You can say whatever you got to say in closing. This team is significantly better than everyone else they play the rest of the year. That's my take from watching the game.
I think that Cincinnati hung with Arkansas, an SEC team that's supposed to be really good this year, in Fayetteville. And I think that I think this team might be better than we even thought it was. You fixed the penalties, which shouldn't be terribly difficult. You fixed the helmets, because that's a thing, apparently.
Yeah, whatever that. I don't know what
so strange.
You put the video up that's got an answer on Fick on the YouTube. Go there.
But you fixed some of those deep balls that were overthrown.
They were a step. Like, I know people are freaking out about that. Here's the other thing I'll say on that.
It was close. It wasn't like you sailed them by like 8 yards.
And timing in game speed is different. Ben doesn't have any reps with these guys at game speed.
He does now.
He does now. Now you get a chance to. He was a yard away. He wasn't sailing stuff 14 yards.
No, there was one really bad pass in the end zone towards the end of the game. Outside of that,
but then he came back and threw a dime to Lenny for the touchdown.
You can't miss Lenny there.
But that was a veteran quarterback, though. He read 4 progressions, stepped up in the pocket, avoided the rush, and then threw a dart to Lenny when Lenny broke open.
Missed Tyler Scott really open in the end zone.
Early.
Second quarter, maybe.
Yeah. That one you'd love to have back. Tyler was wide open. And maybe it's a matter of learning to put a little bit more air when Tyler's out there. Just let Tyler run under it. You don't have to throw him open. That's the frustrating part I get for fans. We're going to talk about it. I don't want to get Monday night. We're going to get into a lot of this.
Yeah, we didn't even touch Ryan Coe. So
it's frustrating when you see a guy running open and the quarterback misses him by half a yard. It's frustrating.
Watching from the press box, it wasn't easy.
All right, go get some food, hang out in Fayetteville, and get back on the road. Have a safe drive tomorrow. I will see you then tomorrow night, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, this is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!